My name is Sara Dean, and I am the director and choreographer, or maybe musical stager, of the Spitfire Grill. The show focuses on the story of Percy Talbot, who has arrived in the small town of Gilead, Wisconsin, on parole. And it is her story of community, of survival, of forgiveness. Okay, the highlight of putting this show together for me, um, I hate to say it, it's really the whole entire process of just being able to start from visions and listening to the story and listening to the album and having pictures in my head of how to make it work in my space, to see that come to fruition on stage. That is, it brings so much joy, and along the way all of the milestones are so exciting and engaging. The first rehearsal, when everybody comes together, the first time the orchestra joins us at the sitz probe, the first time we put all the projections on stage, and then you add the lighting, the costumes, all of the different layers to really make the full effect, is just joy. This one, there was a lot of gambling going on. I wasn't sure if the projections were going to be overpowering of the actors and the set. The set actually is pulled from a lot of our different shows. A lot of the pieces are recycled, which is something that we've been trying to do more of. And I wasn't quite sure if it was all going to work the way that it looked like it was going to work on the paper and in my head. So again, watching all of those pieces come together was really, it's just exciting and invigorating. For the most part, yes. The three pictures that start off the show are pulled from different locations. Those are the ring around the moon, but all of the projections that take us once we're in Gilead itself are from a photographer who's based out of Wisconsin, Nick Schroeder. I found him actually through a Facebook group called Wisconsin Nature Lovers. It was one of the first things I started researching when I started working on the production over the summer, was how there is so much nature imagery in the script itself and in the songs, and how we were going to bring the outdoors inside, especially snow and spring and fall, all of these special moments that are dependent on being outdoors. So it was really important to me to find actual Wisconsin photos. So this has been an incredible process to find all the right images, and Nick has really graciously let us use his photography, which is beautiful. The show itself is really written for 7 performers, and we did write to the Rights House and ask for an additional 7. We've ended up with an additional 8, and so that at each we could have a small ensemble, as well as each one of those people cover one of the primary roles should any illness arise. I think that has actually added a lot to the story. And we've taken the ensemble, and each one of those characters has their own internal story journey throughout the show, and how Percy's arrival affects their interpersonal relationships as well. It's quite fun if you watch some of the action that is happening that's not the primary focus. There are some stories that are being told. So there are a number of themes that come up. The 3 that have kind of circled to the top for the most are rejuvenation of the town, of relationships, a redemption quality, that many of our characters are taking a journey of self-forgiveness, that they've been harboring a lot of baggage. And I think by the end of this, many of them are able to accept their flaws, and I think accept each other for all of their imperfections, which says a ton about friendship, which being the other the other theme is how wonderful, supportive, true friends can be. So when we started on this production, we talked a lot about the significance of weaving the music into the story. Most directors will go, most musicals, there's a little scene and then they burst out into song. Very important to me was interweaving the music within the story. So underneath most of the dialogue, there is underscoring, beautifully led by our musical director, Deborah Lambert, and our incredible orchestra of super talented. I'm going to mention their names because I really want to. We've got Bob on keys, Ed on guitar and mandolin, Jamie and Faye on violins, and Deb and Adriana on cello. They truly bring an extra depth into the production itself. When we discussed the very fabric, the very nature of Gilead in Wisconsin, we talked about that this is how this community is, that they start off in a scene and then they instantly move seamlessly into the music. There's in fact some songs where we've had to put endings into the song because it just carries on. So that was one of the very foundational principles to the show itself, is to make sure that the music was interwoven with the storytelling. In fact, our Juliet Green, who plays Hannah, came into her audition and she accompanied herself on the guitar. We've added that piece into the show itself. Hannah accompanies herself twice. She has two beautiful lullaby-ish songs, and Juliet is doing the guitar on stage, because in this world that we've created, music is just a part of who they are, the fabric of their community. This show, more than any, in my mind, really truly celebrates the wonderful community that are created. Gilead has their community. Each group, each production company that comes in to work on a show with us creates their own little family. We have the SBMT family as a whole, including all of the audiences and our supporters. So, families and a theater as a center hub like the Spitfire Grill is, just truly as a foundation, of a cornerstone of a society, it really resonates with me right now as we go into 60 years. I think a lot about the longevity of SBMT and how we have truly built deep roots into the very fabric of the South Bay, of the Saratoga and West San Jose area, and how much we're looking to continue to grow, thrive as we look ahead to the next 60 years.
Say what you want, say what you will, something's cooking at the Spitfire Grill.